stalking a public servant. For 2022, for walking into City Hall, I was going to make a public records request, and I was filming.
Yeah.
And the mayor from 2017 had a restraining order on me to keep me from speaking at City Hall on the day of her election. So
this is why you never negotiate with terrorists, man. Never.
Yeah.
Because you negotiated with them, you took a deal when you shouldn't have took a deal. And this was how many years ago?
This was 2 years ago.
And it's still affecting you today, man. Hey, man, so yeah, what I already heard the news, but go ahead and explain it, man.
It's, yeah, they gave the corrupt judge gave me, to violate or revoke my probation, he gave me 2 years to serve.
Yeah. Doesn't Mississippi have a 25%?
They do.
So do you have to? Can you get? They'll let you go after 25% of that's done, or what?
That's how it's supposed to be. As long as you have more than a year, they're supposed to give you 25%. And so that would be 6 months. And then the big thing I was trying to, get my attorney to raise to the court is the fact that, which he didn't say anything, and I stood up trying to tell the judge, look, I've got nearly a year of back time being in the county jail, from this, out-of-state warrant, from this bench warrant.
Yeah.
So, am I going to get credit for that?
Yeah, what'd he say?
I mean, he wouldn't answer. He told the officers to quickly take me out of the courtroom. Literally all of my legal papers. I had all these legal documents prepared, and it was laid out on the table where I was sitting. Literally all of my legal documents got left, probably trashed. All of my notes and all of that. I just got a few of the things, but everything else got left in the courtroom and probably trashed.
Okay, so what's the deal with your case, the DUI case that's back in Galveston? Are they going to bring you back over here to let you go to trial for that, or what?
I'm going to say probably not.
Because here's the thing, man. The last time we were in court, Myron Davis, who we think railroaded you, he got your bond reduced to $3,000, even though we had been telling him the whole time that we don't care about the bond being reduced because you have a hold in Mississippi. We even told him numerous times, if we post the bond, then Mississippi's going to come get him. We don't want the bond reduced. We want the charge dismissed. And, the Galveston Police Department never had any probable cause in your case, so it should have been very easy for him to get that case dismissed. But he wasn't able to get the case dismissed, and he convinced me to post your bond at your last court date. He got your bond reduced to $3,000, and he told me, he said, Harvey, I spoke to Mississippi. They're not coming to get him. Post his bond, and he'll be out. So I listened to him, and I posted his bond, and guess what? Mississippi came and got you. Now you've been over there for a month. What, about a month now?
About a month.
And you just had your revocation hearing, and they gave you 2 years for violating your probation, and you still haven't even taken care of this charge in Mississippi. And I'll tell you another thing. Good Citizen News had court today, and this lawyer that railroaded you is the lawyer that Good Citizen News recommended. And and he had a felony charge of threatening a police officer, and anybody that has any kind of legal sense at all thought that there was no way he could beat that. But today, Myron was able to get his case dismissed, and there was a lot of probable cause, and a lot of people said that he should have been found guilty. But Myron was able to get that dismissed, but he couldn't get your case dismissed when there was absolutely no probable cause and a blood test showed 0.000% alcohol. So.
Oh, I know. And then you ask Myron now. Myron wants to lie and say that I told him that Mississippi wasn't going to come and get me. How in the hell was I supposed to speak to Mississippi to find out? No, he told me and he told you that Mississippi was not going to come and get me if we posted the bond.
Wasted $500 of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, somehow, okay, please tell me how I get revoked over here in Mississippi over the felony DWI, which was dismissed.
Yeah.
Because on Mississippi law, the only way that I can be revoked is by the commission of a new felony. That's it. Okay, and they basically argued that that you know, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that this order of dismissal, which was sent to Lafayette County, and which I had and entered as an exhibit to the court today, not to mention the bench warrant and the petition to revoke my probation had a false charge of, you know, they said that I committed a violation of my probation by being charged with driving under the influence, third or more, with a completely random, fictitious case number on there. And even with all that, and showing the court that, look, this information is completely false on the bench warrant and on the petition, not to mention the, you know, felony, the true felony charge of what it actually was over in Texas, driving while intoxicated, third or more, was dismissed. Here's the order of dismissal. It was dismissed May 24th, 2024. But yet somehow the court said that I committed a violation of my probation, even though the charge was dismissed. Like that, dude, it's so rigged. It was a witch hunt.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's just completely crap, man. The whole thing's been garbage from the start.
Garbage.
Yeah. So, what do you think about your lawyer that... What do you think about your lawyer that represented you in Mississippi over here? Because I'm going to post this video right here. Say whatever you want to.
I'm very pissed off about the whole situation because I didn't see him prior to even going into court.
No.
I had basically no time with him whenever I was in court. I took the driver's seat on my case, and he just assisted at my request because I felt like that was the best bet, to have an attorney to assist me, especially since he had no prior knowledge of anything because he didn't meet with me prior. So I wanted to basically, you know, represent myself with his assistance, and that's what I did. But yeah, I feel, you know, in hindsight, I don't know if that was a good idea or not. I mean, I don't feel like he would have represented my best interest at all if he would have, if he would have, you know, fully represented me.
Yeah.
So I felt like my best bet was to do what I did. But, yeah, I mean, I cross-examined Osteen. I asked him a whole bunch of tough questions.
He was there on Zoom. He was at your revocation hearing on Zoom. On Zoom.
He was.
Lying ass Osteen.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, lying asshole Osteen was on Zoom. I objected to his testimony being what was the word that I used? Cumulative and unnecessary, because the fact that the felony was dismissed. But every objection that I posed, the judge overruled me on.
Sure.
The judge should have recused from the proceeding because of conflict of interest. The judge refused to recuse. I got into asking, you know, a bunch of tough questions to Osteen, which, of course,
Dang, I would love to get that video. Could I wonder if I could request that. All right, I'll look into that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue on.
But yeah, so he claimed that he didn't get any kind of phone call or communication about me coming into Galveston.
Did you ask him about why he lied and said he smelled alcohol on your breath and your blood test came back 0?
Yeah, well,
I don't understand why they had him testify, because there was no probable cause. He said he smelled alcohol. They did a blood draw. Your blood test came back 0% alcohol. So where is what was the point in him testifying? What did he say that would convince the judge that you actually broke a law over there?
So he said that he was requested by another officer to show up. He said that the reason I was pulled over was for speeding and failure to maintain a single marked lane, which in hindsight, I never got to question him. I was basically cut off on my questioning because the judge started saying that my questioning was irrelevant and all that. He was getting pissed off with me. But, the fact of the matter is I was never told that I was speeding at all. When I asked why I was being pulled over, Murph never said anything about me speeding. He said that he spoke with the other officer, Murph, and said that he smelled alcohol and that I had a camera. When he came up to my window, he immediately smelled the odor of alcohol, and he asked if I was an auditor. He claims that once I got out of the car, that he still smelled the odor of some unknown alcoholic beverage, that my eyes were pinpoint, jittery eyes, and I was moving around a lot, which I dispute 100%. Claimed that my eyes were watery and glassy and that my pupils were small, which I dispute 100%. And then I asked him if he is a certified drug recognition expert, to which he answered, no, he's not. And I said, well, why are you not? If you're on a task force that specializes in making DWI arrests, why are you not a drug recognition expert? He said that they haven't had the time to send him. And I was like, well, how long have you been on this task force? And he said, about a year.
Yeah.
So he's sure speaking of a lot of things that he has no knowledge about. He claimed that he could still, speak with knowledge about the signs of intoxication from drugs, but he's not certified as a drug recognition expert.
Yeah.
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I got a question for you. Yeah. So, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, okay, you're arrested in Galveston, and then, you got extradited back to Mississippi. Just let everybody know, what your conditions were in Mississippi, what your charges were. Just explain to everybody why you're back in Mississippi, if you can, real briefly, so people will just, so people have an understanding.
Well, I was on probation for basically stalking a public servant for 2022 for walking into City Hall. I was going to make a public records request, and I was filming.
Yeah.
And the mayor from 2017 had a restraining order on me to keep me from speaking at City Hall on the day of her election. It's a long story, but it was a corrupt move to basically block me from speaking.
Yeah.
And that restraining order was still in place 5 years later.
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
And we've seen a lot of that where auditors and cop watchers get charged with stalking. We've seen a lot of that, but they actually convicted you on it?
Well, no. I advised my attorney because I had a newborn child that was in the neonatal intensive care unit at La Bonheur, and my wife got fired from her job, so I needed to get out to support my family. And I was stuck in jail with no bond. And so the attorney, got me probation, saying, okay, well, you won't serve any time, and I'll get the charge expunged when you're eligible. I wish I never did it.
Did you serve time after you? Did you serve time after you pled guilty, though?
Well, hey, let me try to call you back real quickly so that I can answer that question. All right, because it's about to hang up on you.
Yeah, just say yes or no.
Wait, what was the question?
Did you serve time after he told you to plead guilty?
I did from a probation revocation hearing in 2020.
So, okay, so after you pled guilty, you still did time when he told you weren't?
So yeah, I was revoked. I was revoked based on lies by a sheriff's deputy over here at Lafayette County.
Yeah.
Because I went, I had called the local branch office of the FBI over here in Oxford, Mississippi. I wanted to discuss everything that happened with Lafayette County, about the way that they railroaded me with that charge, about it being a violation of my rights because I was a journalist going to City Hall, and I also wanted to report a matter with the Holly Springs Police Department.
Yeah.
And I did exactly what I was told, and going up there to that office, part of it, and to get back into the, me pleading out to that stalking charge back in 2022, a key part of it was that I'm banished from Lafayette County. I'm not allowed to be in Oxford or Lafayette County for 5 years for the term of my probation. So when I did what I was, what I had spoken with the agent about coming up to their office, which is a legal matter, okay, I was ultimately revoked on my probation for doing exactly that, and given a year to serve in prison on a probation violation when I was revoked November 3rd, 2022. I got out of prison August 1st, 2023.
Okay, so but when you pled guilty to stalking the mayor, you didn't have to do any. You didn't have to do any time for that afterwards. The time was just for probation, revocation,
just on unsupervised probation.
Okay, but that's what you violated when you got unlawfully arrested in Texas. That's what you violated, was the conditions under the stalking the mayor arrest.
Correct.
That's what put you back in Mississippi. Okay, it's a very complicated and confusing story, man. It's really difficult to keep up with. But you've been completely railroaded by the system. There's no doubt about it. Man.
Yeah, there's so many turning gears on everything, man. That's what gets so overwhelming with it.
But look, man, this is, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but if I don't say something when I think about it, then I forget it forever. But this is why you never negotiate with terrorists, man. Never. Yeah. Because you negotiated with them, you took a deal when you shouldn't have took a deal. And this was how many years ago?
This was 2 years ago.
And it's still affecting you today, man.
Big time. They have essentially, they got me to plea out to unsupervised probation, thinking, okay, well, it's unsupervised.
Yeah.
They've used that unsupervised probation. They've now revoked it twice. Their whole goal is to ultimately make me serve all 5 years of that unsupervised probation in prison.
So how much longer are you on this probation for?
So they just gave me 2 more years to serve today, and they resuspended the remainder of it to unsupervised probation. So I'll have, so I got to serve 2 more now, and then once I get out, I'll still be on 2 more years of unsupervised probation.